So you decided to join the military, and maybe you're thinking about going talking to a recruiter now. Well, let's talk about some of the things that a lot of new recruits, whenever they go and talk to a recruiter, what are some of the mistakes that they make? So a big portion of you guys that watch my videos are people who are thinking about joining the military, and a really big portion are people who haven't even gone and talked to a recruiter yet. So first off, I just want to say, don't be scared to go and talk to a recruiter. Just if you want to join the military, if you have questions, you can ask me, but it's really hard for me to get back to you, so it's a much better source for you to go and actually talk to a recruiter. Just call them up, set up a meet time with them, and you can just go and ask them whatever you want. But the thing is, whenever you actually go and talk to a recruiter, there's a few mistakes that a lot of recruits make whenever they're going and talking to them. One of the biggest mistakes that I've seen recruits make whenever they're talking to a recruiter is that they have selective hearing, right? So whenever they walk into that recruiter's office, maybe they have something in mind that they want to do, they have a general idea, right? And they go and talk to the recruiter, they're asking the recruiter some questions and stuff, but then they have something set in their mind, and when the recruiter says something that they like, they really just latch on and they listen to that, though. So they hear airborne school or something. But the recruiter might actually tell you that, hey, you might not actually get to do this, you're gonna have to wait till you get to your unit, but you're thinking in your head, oh yes, I'm definitely gonna get to do airborne once I get out of AIT, right? But maybe your recruiter didn't actually say it's a guaranteed thing. Now, some recruiters do like to say that it is guaranteed, but I've gotten a lot of questions from what people have said that the recruiters have said, but it's pretty obvious that they didn't actually really think about what the recruiter told them. So a lot of times people talk to a recruiter, they hear something good, and then they just blur everything out, and they focus on that one thing. So when you're talking to a recruiter, try really hard not to have selective hearing. So not everybody who's joining the military is just this big alpha male or alpha woman or whatever who's just really strong and stern with their personal opinions and whatever. A lot of people aren't like that, right? So whenever they go and talk to a recruiter, sometimes a recruiter is that kind of person, and they're trying to get you to do certain things. So a lot of people, whenever they're talking to a recruiter, are just being a total pushover. The recruiter is just telling them what to do, telling them what they want to do, telling them all this stuff, and they're just sitting there just taking it all and like, yeah, I guess that sounds good. I guess I can do that job. I guess I can do that MOS. The recruiter's like, hey, why don't you be an 88 Mike, right? But you have no desire whatsoever to be, a truck driver. But the recruiter's like, hey, there's all this stuff, but you're just sitting there being a pushover, and the recruiter is basically telling you what they want you to do, right? So when you're going and talking to a recruiter, have an idea of what you want to do, some general idea, and don't let the recruiter tell you what you want to do, because that happens a lot. People go into a recruiter's office with nothing in really mind what they want to do. That's perfectly okay. I just recommend that you have some kind of general idea, maybe a handful of MOSs that you would like to do. Have a general idea, but even if you don't, when you go and talk to a recruiter, try not to let them tell you what you want to do, because they don't know you, right? They don't know you. So take what they say with a grain of salt, soak it all in, whatnot, and don't just be like, yes, I'll do that, because then if you tell your recruiter, some people are scared to tell their recruiter that they changed their mind before the contract is signed and everything. So if you told a recruiter, hey, yes, that MOS sounds fine, then you get home and you're like, crap, why did I tell him that was okay? I don't want to do that. I don't want to do this. Maybe I told him that I was definitely going to join the Army, but maybe I'm thinking about joining the Air Force. I don't know. Don't be scared to talk to a recruiter. Don't be scared of them, right? So when you go and talk to them, don't let them push you over and just be like, yes, you're going to do this, you're going to do this. This is kind of how you're going to join. Oh, no, that idea, don't join the Air Force, they're stupid. Don't join the Marines, they're stupid. Don't join the Navy, they're stupid. Just this is the only way to do it. Don't let them do that to you, right? A lot of people do. It's not necessarily a bad thing. Think of recruiters, I've said it multiple times, as like car salesmen. They're trying to sell you on the branch of the military that you're trying to join. So if you ask an Army recruiter about the Navy, the Army recruiter's gonna be like, yeah, the Navy is so much worse than this, the Army is gonna be so much better. If you go and you talk to a Navy recruiter and you ask them about the Army, the Navy recruiter's gonna be like, oh gosh, the Navy is so much better than the Army. There's so many benefits and stuff like that. So if you don't know what branch you're gonna do, when you ask one branch about other branches, they're obviously going to be telling you that this branch is better, just like a car salesman. If you go and talk to a Honda car salesman and you ask them about Toyota or Kia or something, Honda car salesman will be like, this is the best. If you go talk to a Kia salesman, the Kia salesman is It's gonna be like, our cars are way better than Hondas for this, and whatever reason. So go in there with your mindset and don't let them tell you what they want you to do. And for my final big mistake that new people make whenever they're talking to a recruiter is they are not direct with their questions and they're vague with their questions, right? So when you're talking to a recruiter, it's okay to ask a few general questions, but you're asking about a career, right? So a lot of people, they'll go and talk to a recruiter and they just be like, hey, what's your experience in the Army like? Which is fine. I think it's okay to get a general feel for your recruiter, what their experience was in the military, so you kind of understand what they're dealing with. So if you go talk to a recruiter and he used to be infantry, he's probably going to be biased towards the infantry and he might try to get you to go infantry. If you go talk to a recruiter and he was a former whatever signal guy, because I was signal, then he might be like really pro signal MOSs, right? So it's a good idea to get a general understanding of your recruiter, what their experiences was. But when you're talking to them, try to ask direct questions, because a lot of people do not ask direct questions. They're just very vague. They're just walking into the recruiter's office and just hoping the recruiter is going to tell them what to do. Again, not the smartest thing in the world. So you want to go in there and be like, maybe ask about this specific MOS. If that recruiter doesn't know much about it, maybe another recruiter in the same office will ask about all the financial benefits, some specifics on what you can do if you want to try to get promoted before you leave for basic training. Ask for some specifics, not just vague. So if a recruiter tells you something and it sounds really amazing, but they're not giving you specifics, try to nail down those specifics. Like what actually is this recruiter talking about? A lot of times when somebody's going and talking to a recruiter for the first time, they talk to a recruiter, they just have a little conversation and stuff, and then they leave, and then they're just like, I don't even really remember what we talked about. Like, what is something substantial that I got out of this conversation? Maybe you went and you talked to your parents afterwards, and they start asking you questions, and you're like, I didn't actually ask your recruiter that. I don't actually know how much I'm gonna get paid. I don't know how much I can get for the GI Bill or for my student loan repayment or the possibilities of that, right? So actually ask specific questions so that when you leave, it wasn't just a waste of time for you to go and talk to a recruiter. And something that I want to just like cap this video off here at the end is this video topic. What I'm talking about right here is basically a reason why a lot of recruiters get a bad, rep, because the recruits actually talking to the recruiters aren't understanding what they're talking about. Maybe they're talking about all this vague, cloud of information, and then they kind of just, derive their own meaning from that. They're not actually asking specific questions. And then whenever they talk to the family, they talk to these other people, they're thinking of what they thought the recruiter said, but maybe they had selective hearing, maybe they weren't talking specifics, and they didn't actually know the exact answers. So then they're like, oh, my recruiter lied to me, oh, my recruiter lied to me, oh, my recruiter lied to me. When in reality, maybe you just didn't ask the right questions, maybe you just were just talking, and maybe you had selective hearing. I don't know. So the reason I'm doing this video is because I want you guys to not do that. I want you guys to go and talk to a recruiter, actually get something out of it. Make sure you get what you want in your contract. Make sure you nail down details so that when you go home, when you talk to people, you actually know what you're talking about and you don't think of your time in the recruiter's office as just like a big blur, deer in the headlights. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm doing this. So that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, you can hit that like button. That would be awesome. If you want to stick around some more videos, hit the subscribe button. That will be even better. If you guys, notice the t-shirt, this is a little plug right here, but again, I'm sponsored by Jim Fidel. If you want to get this t-shirt, the link is going to be in the description below. Jim Fidel, 15% off with code WARD. It's pretty awesome. But if you guys are not following me on social media, Instagram and Snapchat links are right here. I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you later.